have a lot of families from the Hasidic, the more ultra-Orthodox community that have chosen to live in Staten Island. These families come anywhere from 5 to 12, 13 kids. And the needs to feed these population groups is tremendous. We had for Rosh Hashanah alone from this group, this new demographic population, close to 600 families to feed. I know we have a great colleague on Mainz from Met Council. Thanks to his support and Terry working closely with him, we're able to get through.
Thank you. We welcome everybody today. We have a good group of people on now to a special discussion and information sharing session on the halal and kosher needs of Staten Islanders in food need. So we're going to open up with Mendy from Kojo, that's been running a food pantry on Staten Island, I think for several decades. So Rabbi Mendy Moroznik is the CEO, president of the Council of Jewish Organizations of Staten Island, and is also executive vice president of Igud Harabonim, which is the parent agency to the Kojo Pantry. So, Mendy, open it up. Talk to us. You got about five minutes.
5 minutes is enough time. We'll try to hit the highlights. Talking to friends who are active in the field. First reality is that COVID pandemic opened our eyes to the reality of the needs of the kosher consumer in the borough, kosher pantry consumer. Also, a trend that started prior to COVID, just continued the last several years. There's been a demographic increase, changed the demographic increase in the Jewish population in the borough. We have a lot of families from the Hasidic, the more ultra-Orthodox community that have chosen to live in Staten Island. These families come anywhere from 5 to 12, 13 kids. And the needs to feed these population groups is tremendous. We had for Rosh Hashanah alone from this group, this new demographic population, close to 600 families to feed. I know we have a great colleague on Mainz from Met Council. Thanks to his support and Terry working closely with him, we're able to get through. We also have the needs for the regular kosher consumer, which Eva Ruvain, our great phenomenal pantry director, handles at the Orthodox site. So all in all, we're talking close to 1,500 families we just took care of Rosh Hashanah. But here's what the problem is. We are not able to acquire the regular kosher food to sustain all the families. The first issue is, as great as Food Bank is, and as hard as they try, they do not have all the products that meet the kosher standards of the more rigid devout population. That's the first issue. And Met Council, as much as they try to help us, they have to worry about the other 4 boroughs. And with funding not being in place where it has to be in place, and the support not being in place where it has to be, makes it kind of each time your heart starts to pump what's going to happen. The other reality we're dealing with, that we have senior populations, when the COLAs are not going up to cover their budgetary needs. There's senior populations caring for grandchildren and family. We have families with large children, and we're dealing with a situation right now, economic distress, which we have not witnessed so far. The only positive thing from COVID, nothing's positive from COVID, but the only positive benefit came out of this, that people who are in need are not embarrassed to seek the help. Stigma of going to a pantry line is greatly diminished, but we're left with the reality how to fund it and take care of it, and it's very, very troublesome. So, but the need is there. The population shift in Staten Island is dramatic over the last 8 years. I know Eva will explain more on her pressures that she's having, and with it comes a whole host of social service issue, which we never had before. So we find it very, very compelling. I want to thank Met Council, but has to be a way end of the day to make sure that Kojo and Met Council can get the job done to make sure that no family that seeks our assistance is left without a food package, whether it's for the holiday or whether it's for a regular distribution. Terry or Eva, did I leave something out?
No, we're going to actually turn it over to Eva so she could fill in. Thank you, Mindy. I want to welcome Eva Rubin, who is the pantry coordinator for Kojo, but who also coordinates specifically the site at Autora Sephardic Minyan in New Springville, which is considered a food desert neighborhood. So it's the first food pantry in New Springville. And Eva, if you could talk a little bit about your operation, where your volunteers come from, and who are you seeing pulling up in those cars?
So obviously we're the first of its kind in New Springville. We're running a monthly pantry that's drive up. We are catering obviously to the kosher consumer. And even when I say kosher, it's not just Jewish people. I have Muslim families, I have Christian families that live by these guidelines. So I'm not just seeing Jewish people. We're catering to the masses that are in the neighborhood, and they're there. They need it. A lot of them are seniors. A lot of them are seniors that call me and say, can we have more than once a month? I can't afford it. I had my grandkids come, or I had my kids come and stay, and they brought 4 grandkids with them. It's overwhelming from them, and they still want to take care of their grandkids and their children. Their fixed incomes aren't enough to cater to the fact that prices have increased greatly, especially during the high holidays. Prices go up, and they can't fit it in their budget. And it's tough to see. You know, they're looking for more food stamps. They don't necessarily qualify because they did earn a good living at one point. And it's sad to see.
How many are you seeing on a monthly basis?
So we do about 150 bags, not counting certain people in different locations that we cater to. They're seniors. They're seniors that at least 75% are my senior group. And it's tough to see on the line. And the better reason why we have the line is most of these people can't walk. They can't carry the bags. You know, it helps them that we can just put it in their trunk and they can keep on going. There are people that pick up for other people because they can't get out of their houses. We're not just Heartland Village by the mall, it's Willowbrook too. So, you know, it's tough to see it.
And who are the other pantries that you're supporting?
Well, it's not so much pantries. It's so much we have other synagogue groups that we're supporting, and then they, you know, we make the family list for them, and then they bring it to them to help them, so they don't have to come on the line. It helps a little bit. You know, we're helping out the Russian community over down by Highland Boulevard, down by the boardwalk. They're reaching out.
And Torah Semets too, right?
Yeah, they're down on Highland Boulevard.
Right. And they're in
and their numbers have actually increased. When we first started more than a few years ago, they were 10 families. Now they're up to 25 families.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Our numbers aren't going down. They're going up.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna just turn this over to Iftikhar. Welcome and thank you.
My husband was having bad reception, so you have me and my son. How are you?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for being on board. Could you introduce yourself? I know you're the New York Muslim Jewish Community Center.
Community Health Center, yes. And I'm Jenny Ahmed. I'm Iftikhar's wife, and I'm the executive director of the social adult daycare. And my son here, he's the assistant, and I have like 10 hats we wear.
Gotcha. I hope you don't have 10 heads. I've been through that myself. So if you could talk a little bit about the monthly pantry on Richmond Road, that's quite an impressive pantry.
Yes, we have so many people that come. I wish I could say it was all one, but it's not. We have the Asian Muslims, we have the Chinese, We have Jewish families. We have Nigerian families. It's like an area where it's all like moshed together. And we've been doing what, about 400?
Yeah, about 400 to 600 people per pantry.
So we've been really busy. Our line usually goes around the block like twice before we start. They get there early and they stay late. Plus, we have seniors that we deliver to about 150 seniors?
Yeah, about 150 seniors.
About 150 seniors we deliver to as well. So we have a full plate.
And that 400 to 600, those are families, or those are actual numbers of people
No,
in the household?
Those are families. Those are families.
Wow. Okay, I very much appreciate that. I'm just looking to see if we have folks from Beit Jamat on as well.
Yes, you do. Both me and my
Jamila,
husband are on.
we turn it over to you, Jamila.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Jamila LaSalle. I am the executive director to Beit Jamat House of Community. My husband is on as well. He is the president and founder. Basically our mission is to provide food security, mental health through the arts, educational series, programs, and advocacy support to the underserved families on Staten Island. And our signature program is none other than a food security program. We now have a walk-up and mobile food pantry where we are providing all families to the walk-up pantry, and then seniors and those that are physically unable to walk outside their home or homebound, we provide door-to-door service to them. Since our inception in 2015, we have serviced over 76,000 families. But currently we provide up to 120 families per seniors and those that are homebound a week, well, every other week now, door-to-door service. We supply about maybe 400 families a month with both walk-up and mobile food pantries.
And what are you seeing? What populations are you serving? And
We
what percentage?
Because of the geographic area that we're in, we are in the New Brighton area, which is our location is 192 Corson, which is off of Jersey Street. So we have a lot of Black American, Latinos, and then we have a lot of African Muslims and Pakistanis and Bangladeshis that come our way.
Got it.
And as for seniors, they're just all walks. We service Mid-Island, all zip code areas, North Shore, Mid-Island, and we have a few in now South Shore areas.
And I wanted to say that we've been seeing a lot of the people that are in the migrant housing. They've been coming as well too.
Okay,
It's
who's
like
speaking?
each week there's a little more coming.
Oh, okay. Yes, because you're actually very near migrant housing. Is that you speaking, Mrs. Ifkatar?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you're very close to the largest migrant shelter on Staten Island.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, wonderful.
There's
Thank
more.
you. And Imam, would you like to say a few words? Zoltarian?
Yes, thank you. Greetings to all and many blessings. I can't add much to what my wife had expounded on. The mobile food pantry is one of the main outreach programs that we have. We also have programs for dealing with grandparents raising grandchildren. Yes, the migrants are included in our distribution and walk-up pantry. So we get people from all walks of life, all over the island, and as repeating as what my wife just illustrated to the group.
Thank you. And the numbers you're seeing of households a month right now is more or less what?
So
Between 400 and 500 families a month. That includes our mobile food pantry distribution.
And thank you. And that's fruits and vegetables you deliver to the houses, right?
Right. So it's
Correct.
produce, canned goods. What we're doing is trying to stick strictly halal. So any canned goods or anything that's in suspicion, we don't, we just do away with it, or we don't order it. We just try to stick to it basically halal,
And
even in canned goods.
how do you obtain your halal canned goods? Where do you get them?
Well, we work with Schreier Farm. That's through one of our funders. But then we also have Islamic Relief USA and ICNA Relief USA. And they only provide all halal products.
ICNA, ICNA.
ICNA and Islamic Relief USA.
Got you.
They're both,
okay.
they both run, toe to toe and providing relief aid efforts and services.
Got you.
You also want to point out that we also receive fresh produce from Project Hospitality, as well as the church on Tompkins Avenue from time to time.
Yes. And that's
So it's a community, right? It's a community effort. It's a joint effort.
Yes. Yes, and it's a pleasure to be able to do that. A pleasure. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And can you speak a little bit about your soup kitchen? I know
the
that's
Soup for the Soul.
Soup for the Soul.
Soup for the Soul is mobile. We are basically stationed right outside. We, have an agreement with the Staten Island Ferry. We basically station right outside the terminal, and we provide cups of soup during the season to up to 100 families a week. But that's seasonal. That comes, right about now. We're beginning to plan for that. But again, we're basically stationed outside. So this is like an outside effort that we provide for the hungry and homeless. So we service about 400 to 450 families a month, and that's in addition to the walk-up and mobile food pantry program.
Got you. And where are you stationed outside of the mobile pantry? Is there a specific place where people come to get the halal food?
That's at 192 Corson Avenue.
Great. And when is your pantry open there?
It's every other Thursday from 11 a.m. till supplies last.
Okay, so the Thursday coming up is first Thursday of October. Would that be the day, or then the following?
It's going to be October the 11th, the week after.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. That's much appreciated.
Thank you.
You said Thursdays or Wednesdays?
I'm sorry, Thursday the 12th. The 11th is Wednesday. Thursday, October 12th, 11 a.m.
Okay. And we could just, flip back to the New York Muslim and Jewish Community Center. What are you there? Is it every Saturday out of Richmond Road?
It's
every last Saturday of the month. It's once a month because we have too many people.
Okay,
so we only do it once a month.
But people that call in, we'll deliver to them throughout the month.
Okay.
And if someone calls and they need food, we'll deliver it to them.
And what time?
The walk-up we do once a month.
And what time is the once a month?
11 a.m. till almost 5 p.m.
Okay. And that's the last Saturday, regardless if it's fourth Saturday or fifth Saturday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But if someone like on the, just they need help, they call us, we deliver groceries to them.
Okay. Thank you. Wonderful. We're waiting for one more person to join us, Dr. Krakauer, and he'll be with us in a little bit, but I'd like to turn this over to Met Council on Jewish Poverty and their Director of Pantry Relations, Ben Zients. Ben, take it away.
Hey, Terry. Thank you. And thank you for asking us to call. It's good to see so many friends on the call. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben Zients. I'm from Met Council. Met Council oversees a network of kosher and halal food pantries across the 5 boroughs and beyond, and are really so happy to do all this incredible work on Staten Island and to work with so many of you to meet the kosher and halal food needs across the island. For those of you who I have not had the chance of working with or knowing yet, please reach out to me or speak to Terry, and we can find our we can connect on we can find a way to connect.
I have a meeting in 2
It'll
minutes.
be,
Yeah. What do you want?
It'll be really, a great opportunity for us to work together to get more food to your communities and more resources. A few things that we've all touched on, the increased growing need and the lack of support from some of the government, city, state, and federal funders to meet that growing need, whether it be kosher product, whether it be halal product, or whether, as Mendy had mentioned, the product to serve the ultra-Orthodox community, which requires a stronger kosher certification than your standard kosher packages, all of which are lacking in the government resources and require purchases from private philanthropic resources. One of the things that Met Council has been working on very hard is on advocacy around these issues, up and down the aisle, from local all the way to federal, including meetings and opening a program with the USDA specifically on halal and kosher need, which is something really exciting and should make will make real lasting changes for the emergency food world. The other thing that's really exciting is 2 months ago, we officially launched the first island-wide digital choice pantry for kosher pantry in out of the Staten Island JCC. So the Staten Island JCC now has a digital choice pantry system where clients are able to log on through market.metcouncil.org and place orders and have it picked up at their kosher pantry, and hoping to continue to expand that beyond just the JCC, but they can work with satellite locations and programs beyond. Really, want to be here as a tool and a resource for advocacy, for soundboarding, for helping pantries that meet religiously informed diets, whether that be halal or kosher, or again with the ultra-Orthodox population that needs the stronger kosher certifications. So again, Reverend Troyer, thank you again very much for this time. Please reach out to me. Pleasure to speak to you all and to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. And we'd like to welcome at this time Dr. Yitzhak Tower, representing the Haimisha community on Staten Island.
Thank you, Terry. Hope everyone can hear me. First of all, thank you very much for putting this together. It's very appreciated. As Ben just mentioned earlier, and many of you have mentioned, we're all struggling, to help our communities as they struggle through this these past couple of years, and with the recession and all that. Since COVID, it's been very difficult. I represent the Hasidic community, the ultra-Orthodox community in Staten Island. It's there's a organization called the VAD, which represents the Hasidic community, the ultra-Orthodox community. And as Ben mentioned, and others have mentioned, we have a unique need when it comes to kosher food, and what makes it difficult. We represent approximately 600 families. Many of them who are struggling. Most of them have large families. We've had a very difficult year. For example, this past year, where we usually, actually the Mezcal usually helps us out a lot. This past Rosh Hashanah, we didn't get what we usually get. We have needs that come in terms of monetary needs. For example, this past Rosh Hashanah, our chicken allocation was cut in from roughly 100 boxes to roughly 50 boxes, and our body of families grew roughly 50% over that time. We actually had some money borrowed to make up the shortfall. We tried our best. We have families with elderly people with small children, single parents, unemployed people. families who are really struggling, and all these services come to great use. We'd like to thank all the sponsors who have helped us in the past, and would like to ask if it's possible to continue helping us provide for these families as we go further.
Thank you, Yitzhak. And can I just ask, is there anybody from JCC on our call today? All right, that's my fault. Please excuse me for not prompting the JCC to get on the way I prompted everybody, and my apologies for that. Let's open this up for questions or comments from the folks that are listening. Anybody can jump in. I'm not able to see the chat, but
this is Susan. I just wanted to I put it in the chat, but it would be good to get the information from the New York Muslim Pantry and Jamila's Pantry to put on the website, the Hunger Task Force website. And I put my email address in the chat if you can see it.
Okay, no question.
And actually, Eva's and Mendes, your pantries could be on the website as well, or the information could be updated.
We'll get you the updated information.
I have a question just on software and how you're tracking your work. Are you using any specific platforms like Plentiful? Obviously, this roundabout question, so anybody can just chime in, please.
Well, for Beto Jamaat, because the money is received is funded, we have our own client tracking, but it's just more mom and pop. We do have to utilize.
Thank you, Ben, for coming back on. And since Ben is with us and is the most knowledgeable person that's funding both Halal and Kosher on Staten Island, if there are any questions, we could direct them to Ben. That would be great, because he has knowledge and relationship with all of the people who have spoken here today. I'm very sorry for this. We just lost our speaker on the Farm Bill.
Oh, no.
That got cut off. And I truly apologize for that. Any other comments or thoughts or questions about the halal and kosher needs on Staten Island and how they're being met? I'm sure some of the pantry work that's being done was a surprise to folks to know that it's pretty widespread.
Yeah, it needs to be on the website too.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. And on the Facebook.
Oh yeah. Well, the website has the charts, and it's always there.
Yep. Okay, so if there's no further questions on halal and kosher need, I will deliver the briefing on the Farm Bill. There's been active and continued advocacy at the office of our Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, and Food Bank, City Harvest, ourselves, and a couple of other organizations. Oh, United Way for sure. We all met with the chief of, or at least a staff representative from Congresswoman Malliotakis' office. We want to note that the Congresswoman has co-sponsored a bill that is still in committee. We're hoping is going to come out and be voted on before December on the hot food and the use of food stamps for deli food. So that's like really important for people in SROs without access to kitchens for cooking, and to homeless people who are receiving food stamps. The second point of advocacy that's related specifically to the Farm Bill has been to be sure that our elected officials don't do more damage by restricting people who qualify for food stamps, either raising the age for work or denying homeless people who don't work the option for food stamps, particularly here on Staten Island. It's a major issue because we still don't have 24-hour shelter. People don't have access to 3 meals 24 hours a day. And they need their food stamps, and they need to qualify for food stamps in order to meet their hunger needs. And the report at this point from Washington is that they don't think any more changes are going to be made in that bucket for the bill. The biggest request at this point has been to add an additional $550 million to TFAP. TFAP is the emergency food program that pays farmers and other producers of food in the United States in order to designate their produce or to designate their dry goods, such as rice, peanut butter, other staple products to food pantries. And that $550 million actually goes to pay those producers of food in the United States. So it benefits the people that are producing the food, and that food gets shipped to our food banks across the United States and then are distributed to food pantries. And many of us really survive on TFAP allocations. That is not necessarily meat. It's a small portion of it is meat, but most of it is grain, dry grain, and canned food products, and rice and pasta. So those are major commodities that are required for food pantries to meet the dietary needs of the people that come to us for food. They expect that the Farm Bill itself will be voted on sometime between mid-October and the end of October. Might be a little later. It's certainly later than it's supposed to be. And we are still waiting. The religious leaders of Staten Island are waiting to get a meeting with the Congresswoman herself, and Reverend Karen Pershing is working on negotiating that meeting. What is really helpful now at moving into the final hours before there's a vote is for us to have a letter from everybody that's on this meeting and everybody that represents an agency or a school or in any affiliation, church or synagogue or mosque, on your letterhead. And we can send out to you the pointers to put on that letter, and we'll do that through the MailChimp. But if you could get those letters back to my office, and we will package them up and we will get them to our Congresswoman in bulk. Or if you would prefer to send it directly to the Congresswoman and then just CC me as your Food for All person, so that we can keep a track. Is it 23 churches? Is it 10 synagogues? However it can be played out. And we want to be able to say 40, 50, 60 leaders involved in food advocacy on Staten Island and then into hunger on Staten Island, have asked that these provisions be placed in the Farm Bill. Any questions on the Farm Bill? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Hi, Terry. I was just wondering, what is the latest on SNAP benefits? And is that on the Farm Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was just talking about. The restrictions on the Farm Bill regarding SNAP, because SNAP is not approved at a dollar amount, SNAP is an entitlement. The way that you reduce the amount of money that is spent on SNAP is to narrow the population that qualifies for it. So, such as raising work requirements from age 59 to age 62 would limit the number of people that would qualify, because you'd have to be 62 and working in order to get food stamps. That's an example. So food stamps are a major component of the Farm Bill, but not the only component. SNAP and the TFAP is a major component. And then there are other parts of the Farm Bill that deal strictly with producers and the farmers themselves that don't involve us at all as well. It's a massive bill that comes up for reappropriation and reauthorization I think it's supposed to be every 5 years. Sometimes it feels like it's just every other year, but it's supposed to be every 5. So That's where SNAP lies, inside that farm bill.
Thank you.
Ben, you have anything to add? I don't know if you're on the
Yeah, no, Terry, I think you spoke about it really well. You know, the Farm Bill, I believe, is the second largest bill that Congress passes, second only to the defense spending bill. I may be off a little bit, but pretty close to it. Oh, and Nicole can speak even more about it than I. But it's a really important opportunity. Things like SNAP, things like TFAP are included in the Farm Bill, and it's important, as Terry's saying, to get to your local Congress member to speak on this issue. Terry, if you want, Nicole has joined, so we can ask her to speak more about it.
Sure. Nicole, you're back.
Hi, yes.
Bill.
Yes, so sorry, I'm sort of coming in. I'm not sure where we're at, but I can give a little bit of a timeline, I think, or an update on the timeline. Because now that we have this 45-day sort of window for appropriations, I don't know if we touched on that, but the government just averted a shutdown. Basically the Farm Bill and all of the government spending bills all expired on September 30th at midnight. Somewhere very soon before that, September 30th, only a couple hours to spare, Congress passed a continuing resolution to continue to fund the government for an additional 45 days while they sort out the appropriations fight. Appropriations pays for things like TFAP and SNAP and government paychecks and all sorts of things. So the Farm Bill programs continue as is, basically, with the continuing resolution. But my understanding is that there won't be really very much movement on the Farm Bill until after this next budget fight is resolved one way or another. So we're really looking, end of the year is optimistic, I think, at this point. But that is not to say that we shouldn't continue to let our elected officials know how important these programs are to the work that we do. And really, just all the things that folks have said on this call so far. People are, the Food Assistance Network is being asked to do more with less, and the need continues. And we really need the resources. We rely on these government programs. People rely on SNAP, and hits to SNAP mean more people, utilizing food pantries as a stopgap. It's just great that when they hear from us. I do want to give a moment to say Nicole Malliotakis voted for the continuing resolution. Not every Republican did. So that means that she hears you all and the importance of these programs, and also just sort of keeping the government running. Some of that is getting through. So we do appreciate Representative Malliotakis for that. Does anyone have any Farm Bill specific questions or anything that I didn't cover?
Could you update us on the hot food bill? Because that was in committee the last time I looked.
Yeah, so the Hot Food Act is an act by another New York City representative, Grace Meng, who is a SNAP champion, really carries a lot of the great SNAP bills that we support. One of her bills is the Hot Foods Act. It's a bill that she's introduced a few times through the years, and basically it allows for SNAP participants to use their benefits to purchase hot and prepared food. This is we think it's an important improvement because the ability to buy prepared food really reflects the reality of our lives in a lot of ways, especially people who are working or caretaking, either for a relative or whatever, that the ability to buy something that isn't like raw ingredients all the time is very helpful. A rotisserie chicken is the workhorse of a weeknight, a family weeknight meal schedule, I think. So that bill is, I don't think that the expectation is that it'll pass as a standalone bill. I think the expectation is it will get enough support that it will be included as part of the Farm Bill, because that's really where SNAP regulations happen, is in the Farm Bill. So I know that it has a pretty strong New York City delegation showing. Representative Melitakis, again, is on that bill, as are a couple of other New York Republicans, Mark Molinaro, Mike Lawler, Hudson Valley and Long Island, respectively. So it does seem like that is a place where there might be some bipartisan consensus and where we might get an actual win, as opposed to just sort of protecting what we already have. And I think more to come, sort of stay tuned, because I think that there's, like I said, I think there's an opportunity. I think that Representative Meng's office also feels it's an opportunity to sort of get a win. So hopefully we'll get some movement on that this fall / winter.
Thank you for that update, Nicole, and I apologize that we cut people off there by accident. Thank you for coming back on.
All set, yeah.
Any further questions about the Farm Bill? Because we're going to move now to committee reports. But any questions about the Farm Bill while we're here? Any questions about halal and kosher? Again, my apologies to the JCC for not having them here today. It's my fault for not following up. Please excuse me. Okay, we'll go to committee reports in our last 10 minutes here. Susan, the governance committee?
Sure. We had a governance meeting on September 6th and looked at what we had been calling bylaws, and we realized that we're not a corporation, so we don't need bylaws per se. So we changed the document to governing principles, and they are now posted on the Staten Island Hunger Task Force website under Help for Pantries. And I'll put the link in the chat so you can take a look. And really the next piece is coming up with a form, a membership form. And I guess Tommy is going to be taking that on, and
Yeah.
Chris is working on that.
Out to you this week. Absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, I just heard back from Chris, and he has the form ready to go. He'll be sending it out shortly, so sometime this week, everybody should have it.
Good, great. All right, so there's going to be that form, and then and you could put the link to the principles, governing principles too, on that if you want. So that's basically it. We're sort of plugging along, and we're going to have a membership form, and people will see the kind of information that we're looking for, that we all need from one another. And we'll go from there. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chris, anything on data committee?
He says he can't speak because he had to go back to class.
Okay.
But he might be able to respond on chat.
Okay. Just to say that we have been updating the diagram that was put together by the data committee as we get more information from other pantries. So it may be bizarre to say that by the end of 2023, we will have a much better picture of what 2022 looked like. And then we begin the whole process again of pulling together the 2023 data, which we probably won't really have in hand until at least March or April of 2024. But it's really trying to get to all of the outlying pantries who may not be online, may not have computers at the church, may not be able to collect their statistics in the way that would be, helpful for being able to report out number of people served. So we're working on that. It's definitely a work in process, and Chris is taking it by the tail and trying to move it around.
And that information is important for the legislative forums in February. So
absolutely. So final thing is to just say that for the next two meetings, the November meeting, which is at the very beginning of November, will be a look at what pantries are doing for Thanksgiving and what Thanksgiving meals are being distributed across Staten Island, which it could include people that are not part of the task force, obviously, but who may be doing things out of their houses of worship, etc. And then in December, we will be doing the same thing for looking at what's going on for holiday time at our different pantries and soup kitchens. Also, it's been brought to my attention that there are two populations we didn't touch on this year. And one is the Asian community and the growing number of particularly of people with Mandarin and Cantonese speaking needs that are not reflected necessarily in our pantries in terms of getting language appropriate services, but who represent a large portion, especially in the elderly, attending our pantries across the board. So we're going to see if maybe we could, figure out a way to apportion a part of that meeting in the next 2 months to respond to the Asian community needs. And then I don't know if there are other needs that you see that we can get a speaker in for 10 minutes or so. Someone also brought up elderly, and someone also brought up the new immigrants that are coming in and how their food needs are being met. So we might be able to get people to speak on those issues as well.
And pet food.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Cat food and dog food, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And if there's an expert here on cat food and dog food in pantries, you don't have to identify yourself publicly now. You can put it in the chat or reach out to us by text or email. Anybody on the executive committee. That's Chris Dowling, myself, Heather Butts, our secretary, and the heads of our committees, which includes Susan Fowler as our governance person. So please reach out to us if you are connected or are distributing cat food or dog food in your pantries. Okay. Any other business? Not hearing anything? I think we're done for the day. We got back all of our participants except for the 7 people who spoke earlier, 6 people that spoke earlier. So that's really great. Thank you very much. Thank you to Ben. Ben, thanks for hanging in, and happy Sukkot.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mandy.
May your sukkah stay dry, and may a lot of people get in there.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, Terry, be well.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole Hunt. Very, very, very good of you to come back on and to give us that report. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next month. Okay. Take care.